Most farmers work from before sunrise to after dark and still feel like they're falling behind. More hours, more effort, more strain, and the land still pushes back. But here's the thing, nobody tells you early enough. The problem was never your effort. The problem is that you're doing everything yourself. What if some of that daily work could be handed off? Not to a machine, not to a hired hand, but to animals already built for the job. Today, we're looking at 7 hardworking animals that can genuinely reduce your workload. And number 3 is the one most farmers never even consider. Stick around for that one. Now, before we get into it, you don't need more equipment. You don't need a bigger budget or a more complicated operation. What you need is a smarter system. The farmers who feel the least overwhelmed aren't the ones working the hardest. They're the ones who've figured out how to let the right animals carry part of the load. These 7 are practical, relatively low maintenance, and each one solves a specific problem that's probably costing you time right now. Let's go through them one by one. Number 1, chickens. And yes, you might already have them, but are you using them the right way? The real problem on most farms isn't a shortage of eggs, it's pests. Beetles, grasshoppers, grubs, ticks. They move through your fields quietly and do serious damage before you even notice. Chemical treatments cost money, take time to apply, and often need to be repeated. Chickens, on the other hand, handle this almost entirely on their own. They scratch, they forage, they move through the land the way they were meant to, and they eat insects as a natural part of their day. You don't have to teach them. You don't have to schedule them. You rotate them through your fields and they get to work immediately. The benefit isn't just fewer pests, it's less crop damage, healthier soil from their manure, and a steady supply of eggs on top of it all. If you've been spending time and money managing insects, chickens are doing that job for free every single day you let them range. The setup is simple: basic shelter, a water source, and enough space to move. The one ongoing requirement: rotation. Keep them moving so they don't overwork any one patch of ground. That's really it. Number 2, goats. If you've ever looked out at a stretch of your land and felt that quiet dread, overgrown corners, invasive brush, thick weeds climbing along fence lines, goats are the answer that doesn't wear you out. They eat what most other animals ignore: brambles, tough weeds, shrubby growth, young saplings. Goats work through it steadily and without complaint. What would take you days of physical labor with a brush cutter and a strong back, a small group of goats will handle in a fraction of the time, and they'll keep handling it. You don't clear it once and repeat the whole process next season. You rotate your goats through and the land stays manageable on its own. The secondary benefits build quickly too. Their manure improves the soil as they go. If you have dairy breeds, you get milk on top of the clearing work. And honestly, the mental load of not having to stare at overgrown land and dread the weekend's work, that alone is worth something. Setup is straightforward. Secure fencing is your main investment because goats will find the weak points. Beyond that, basic shelter and water. The single most important ongoing task: rotate them before they overgraze, move them through consistently, and the land takes care of itself. Number 3, and this is the one. This is the animal most farmers overlook completely, even farmers who've been at this for decades. Ducks. Stay with me here. Because if slugs and snails are hitting your crops, and on most farms they are, especially in wetter seasons, ducks are doing something almost no other animal does as efficiently. Slugs are nocturnal, small, fast to reproduce, and remarkably hard to control. They move through your beds at night and leave damage you find in the morning. Chemical slug control works, but it's expensive. It has to be reapplied constantly, and it introduces things into your soil and food system that you may not want there. Ducks hunt slugs. It's not incidental. It's one of the things they're genuinely built for. They move low to the ground. They probe into damp, shaded spaces slugs love, and they are persistent in a way that's almost hard to believe until you watch it happen. Introduce a small group of ducks into an affected area, and the slug population drops noticeably within days. Your crops come out cleaner with no chemical intervention, and on top of the pest control, you get eggs. Duck eggs are richer than chicken eggs and have a growing market if you want to sell them. Setup is easy. Water access is essential, simple shelter, and a small pond or even a deep trough. Keep them out of seedling beds. Their feet can damage young plants. But once crops are established, ducks are one of the most quietly effective tools a farm can have. Most farmers never try them. The ones who do tend not to go back. Number 4, pigs. Tilling is one of the most physically demanding tasks on a farm. Breaking hard ground, turning compacted soil, preparing new beds. It's exhausting. It's hard on equipment, and it has to be done before anything else can happen. Pigs do a version of this naturally. Their snouts are built for rooting. They push into the ground, turn it over, break up compaction, and in doing so, they aerate and loosen soil in a way that costs you nothing but the time it takes to set them up in the right area. This doesn't replace every type of soil preparation, but for opening up new ground, managing field sections between growing cycles, or breaking through areas that have gone hard and neglected, pigs are remarkably effective. Their manure is also a high-quality soil amendment, so the land they work through is left in better condition than they found it. The key with pigs is rotation and containment. They are thorough, sometimes more thorough than you want. So you need to be intentional about where you put them and for how long. Solid fencing, consistent feeding, fresh water, and a clear rotation plan. Work those details, and pigs become one of the most useful soil management tools on the farm. Before we get to the final 3, which one of these would help you most right now? If you're dealing with overgrown land, struggling with pests, or fighting slugs season after season, there's already an animal on this list built for your exact situation. Let me know in the comments. It helps to hear what you're actually dealing with, and it helps other farmers in the same spot find what they need faster. Number 5, sheep. Grass and pasture management sounds simple, but managing it well takes consistent attention. Let it go too long, and you lose the land to rank growth and weeds. Mow it mechanically, and you're spending fuel, time, and maintenance hours on a task that never really ends. Sheep graze evenly and naturally in a way that keeps pasture at a healthy, manageable level with almost no effort from you. They're calm animals. They're quiet. They work in the background of the farm without creating disruption or drama. And when you rotate them correctly through your fields, they maintain a level of grass control that would otherwise cost you hours every month. The added value comes in multiple directions: wool if you have the right breeds, and good meat value if that fits your operation. But even if you want neither of those things, the land management alone makes sheep worth serious consideration. Set up good perimeter fencing, basic shelter, fresh water, and access to mineral supplements. The one ongoing priority: rotational grazing. Keep them moving, don't let them overwork any single paddock, and your pastures stay healthy and productive season after season. Number 6, donkeys. This one gets dismissed as old-fashioned, but farmers who keep donkeys for the right reason understand what they actually do. Predators are a constant cost on most farms, not just the losses themselves, but the time spent checking on animals, reinforcing enclosures, and carrying that background stress of knowing something is out there. Donkeys are natural guardians. They have an instinctive wariness toward dogs and canids. They are alert and they will actively confront threats to the animals they're kept with. A single donkey integrated into a flock of sheep or goats provides a level of protection that surprises most people who haven't seen it. They don't need training for this. It's behavioral. They bond with the herd, they stay close, and they respond to threats with a confidence that deters most predators. The return on that protection in livestock saved, in sleep preserved, in constant low-level worry reduced is hard to put a number on, but very easy to feel. They're low-maintenance eaters. They thrive on hay and pasture, and their ongoing care is modest. Hoof care and routine health checks. That's the core of it. Number 7, bees. If you're growing crops that flower, vegetables, fruit trees, soft fruits, anything that depends on pollination, the yield difference between a farm with a healthy bee presence and one without it is not subtle. Bees are not passive. They move constantly, they cover significant ground, and the pollination they carry out is directly responsible for fruit set, seed development, and the overall productivity of your harvest. Farms near active hives consistently produce more per plant. The math is simple. Better pollination equals more food from the same space and the same effort. And the secondary return, honey, requires almost no additional work once the hives are established and healthy. The time investment in beekeeping is real, especially in the learning phase, but it compresses over time as you build confidence and routine, your ongoing priorities, monitoring hive health, controlling mite pressure, and making sure the bees have forage through the season. Beyond that, they handle the work themselves. If you have flowering crops and you don't have bees nearby, you are leaving a measurable percentage of your yield on the table every single season. Now, here's the part that matters most, and it's easy to miss when you're working through a list like this. Don't try to add all 7. That instinct to take everything useful and implement it at once is exactly the kind of thinking that makes farming feel heavier than it needs to be. Look at your farm right now. Identify the single task that costs you the most time, the most energy, or the most money. One thing, then find the animal on this list that addresses that specific problem and start there. Get that system working. Let it settle. Let it become part of how the farm runs without you having to think about it. Then, and only then, look at what to add next. The sequence matters more than the total. A farm with 2 or 3 working systems that actually function is far more manageable than one with 7 half-started experiments, all demanding attention. Farming gets easier when the work doesn't all land on you. That's not wishful thinking. That's what happens when you build the right systems and give them time to compound. You don't need to change everything this season. You don't need a perfect plan, a big budget, or the confidence that comes from having done it before. You need one honest starting point. Pick the problem that's wearing you down most. Find the animal built to handle it. Start small, stay consistent, and let the results build on themselves. That's how the farms that last are built, not through more effort, but through better decisions made one at a time. You're already doing the hard part. Now let the animals do some of it with you.